Welcome to my Hebrew channel. I'm looking at Ruth 3 verse 17. This is a short passage, and it explains a little bit as to what Ruth is saying about Boaz here. And also it's the spot at which the whole matter of how much grain was shared is also mentioned again. It's repeated. So when Hebrew repeats something, it's important. It gives it a little more importance. And we've seen Shesh Hashorim when Boaz is speaking. Now we see Shesh Hashorim when Ruth is speaking to Naomi. So it's the second time around on how much grain there was. It's about 60 pounds worth. It's quite a good amount of grain. And again, have your English Bible handy, and I'm going to do a very close literal translation of what's here, and do some explaining as to especially this word here, rekam. Vatomer, and then she said. Now, based on the context, this is Ruth speaking, okay? Vatomer, shesh hashorim, the 6 measures of barley, the 6 measures of barley. Ha'ela, that is these. So that's a demonstrative pronoun here in reference to the shesh hashorim, these 6 measures of barley. Natan, he gave, and then so the subject of this particular verb would be Boaz. He's the one that gave the 6 measures of barley. Li, to me, to me, preposition, and then also a first person singular pronoun suffix on that preposition. Ki, because, Amar, he said. So we got 2 verbs here. He gave, he said. Okay, third person masculine singular. These are both very much root verbs here. That's the way you find them in the dictionary. You usually find them under third person masculine singular. And this was Natan. This nun and this nun have the capacity of being assimilated, but they're all there. So Natan, he gave, and Amar, he said. Al, now this is a prohibitive. Taboi, it should not, to go, that you would go. It is not that you would go. So this is a second person prefix verb here, that you would go. Rekam, okay, that you would go empty-handed, empty. We've seen rekam in our book before, Book of Ruth. We find it right at the first chapter, and it's in the whole complaint sequence where Naomi is complaining about what happened to her, and she says, "Oh, I went out full, malhe, and the Lord brought me back, rekam. The Lord brought me back empty-handed." Okay, rekam. When she reflected on what had happened to her, when she left Bethlehem, husband, 2 children, had everything she needed in this world, and when she came back, had nothing. Wasn't considering Ruth at this point, but she said she really had it in for the Lord, and said, "I came back very empty-handed." Now, Resh, of course, is part of a family of Hebrew words. Arur is to be cursed. Rak is also to curse, and only, and so it's part of that whole sense of how resh is used for not being empty and empty-handed, and being, in a sense, because of it, being in a certain sense accursed or a loss of blessings. And so if we take that into, compared with what happened with Naomi going out and returning Rekam, we see one of the themes of the story, and that is, because of the actions of Naomi and Elimelech and those kind of things, there's tragedy at the start of the story, people dying, people coming back empty-handed, and so. But we also see restoration, and what we see here with Shesh Shorim is the restoration of no longer Naomi or Ruth. Neither one of them is going to be rikam. Neither one of them is going to be empty-handed. In fact, the state of male, the state of being full, is going to return. So A great contrast, loss and sorrow and so forth that we find in the first chapter of Ruth, we find now replaced. And Boaz is saying, it's not good that you would return to your hamotech, to your mother-in-law, empty-handed. In other words, these shesh hashorim, these 6 measures, these 60 pounds or so of grain, of barley, will make sure that at least in one aspect, in terms of food in the house, you will no longer be empty-handed. And as we see here, it's a statement and a promise that Boaz has made to Ruth, and he makes it real by giving her and Naomi the 6 measures of grain. So yes, sometimes we go through life, suffer tragedy, and think the Lord has it in for us, and then we begin a new path of service or a new path of living, and the Lord restores our fortunes. And rather than being empty, the Lord brings back into our life the blessings that we've lost. So I trust that through prayer and through supplication, the Lord will also restore you whatever you have lost, and in this day return to Him. And realize that the will of Boaz and the will also of Jehovah is that we not be Rikam, we be ones who receive blessing and care from our Lord. So may God bless, and may God assure that you will not be Rikam, that you will be filled with whatever good things, or that you will have the good things that the Lord wants for you. So God bless and God strengthen you in this day until the next time.